Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Journey to Scale. This time, I have one of my old friends, Arsen Nurmagomedov. Welcome, Arsen.
Hi, Çağrı. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
having
much. Yeah, thank you very much for having the time for joining this episode. We already have had a episode with you in my Turkish podcast, but right now you have some news on your third exit on one of the products you have built. So before getting into that, can you talk a bit about yourself? What you have been doing so far?
um, it's a long story, so I will focus on the last 5 years maybe. And I'm doing online businesses for more than a decade, probably 10 years at least. And five of them we are focusing on B2B SaaS products. So we, with our company Kovan Studio, we name ourselves like venture builder startup studio or startup studio. There's no specific name for it, but we would
Mm-hmm.
like to call it ourselves like a startup studio.
Mm-hmm.
And we focus on building B2B SaaS products. And we maybe it's not B2B, maybe it's micro SaaS
Mm-hmm.
products at first. We can always switch to B2C or some other stuff, but our main goal to create the smallest product possible, grow it, and sell at some point.
Yeah. So, for example, in your current, company, your Kovan Studio, I believe your first exit was, it was a simpler product than the second exit. It was named Restpack. It was, if I remember correctly, providing an API to generate PDF exports of any kind. So right now it's a more the second product is more developed. Is even some enterprise companies have been using it. So it looks like your trend is going to be moving forward. Bigger and bigger products. So how do you think about that?
Uh, Actually, it was the other way. The Respect, the first one, was more enterprise-ish, I can say, because it was an API, and there were no and real users who are using it. Only at the beginning, developers integrated
Mm-hmm.
our product to their system, and after that, they have no need to log into our dashboard and use the product. So it was
Yeah.
like more boring, more enterprise-ish. But with the second, that's why we would like to switch to something different where we can have real users who are using our product. So that's why we decided to build an AnnotKit. And with AnnotKit, yes, it's uh, B2B, but still we have some recurring users. We need to have some retention, so people will log into dashboard time to time and
Mm-hmm.
use it. And we can collect more feedback. We can improve our product more because we don't need to. It's not only we need to talk with the users, we can also track them, track their usage, and it was much interesting for us. So we picked that kind of uh, product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also before Respect, you also did some content businesses. When you left Onedio with your co-founder. So it's first of all it's content, then API and product, and right now it's a very beautiful with a very beautiful UI. It was a full-fledged product, the last one. So maybe to let our listeners know it better. Can you speak a bit about what AnnotKit was, and how you decided to sell it, and how did the selling process went?
It's maybe specific to us, but I think most of the builders, most of the like indie hackers have this feeling where they bring their company or product to some point. After that, they don't have any motivation to grow it further. It was the same with Onedio for me. We stuck at some motivational level, so we didn't have any more energy to invest in Onedio. That's why we just sold our shares and moved to create Restpack.
Mm-hmm.
And with Restpack, it was the same. We built the products to some point, and after we lost interest, so we are not following the business. We are not following the money. We are following our like motivation, and with the new motivation, with like and some skills,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for us to bring and grow the product to some point. And AnnotKit was our need actually in Respec. We were developing Respec so much, we were adding too much features, and at one point we couldn't find a proper way to announce these features and updates to our users. So that's why we try to look some kind of product where we can do product updates, and we found some, but we decided to build our own, and that's how AnnotKit is born. Right now, we also like it's more than 3 months since our acquisition, and we already ended the handover period. So right now, we are working on our own product,
Mm-hmm.
and this time is we are also working on something we needed during our AnnotKit
Nice.
journey. So again, we know the problem very well. So and that's why we try to build some some solution to it.
Yeah. Is it currently on stealth mode, or can you speak about what it is will be about?
It's like I don't have too much details because like it's kind of start mode, but I can say it's more than um, we plan to focus and solve the user retention and customer success
Mm.
problems. So problems at least that we faced, because there are really good tools outside, like where you can do too much with the users to increase the like upsell or whatever, increase user engagement. But some of them were not pretty suitable for us.
Mm.
And I think there are some other people who have the same problems as we had. So we will do our own solution.
I
But
see.
it's at the very, very beginning stage right now.
I see. Yeah, yeah, that's great. Yeah, you just transferred your ownership to the new company for the Anasket, and yeah, you are starting to new product. By the way, this is your second exit on Acquire.com. It was named Micro Acquire when you when you had your first exit, and it was, yeah, a bit kind of micro product. Right now, it's a bigger product. So how was your we talked about your first exit on my Turkish podcast, so I'm not going to repeat that. But how was the second exit? I believe it had probably lasted a bit longer, because the first exit, if I remember correctly, it was pretty fast.
Yes.
But yeah, this time I guess it should have lasted a bit longer.
Yes, this time it was a bit longer, since I think because in the micro acquirer like Acquire.com, there were much more startups and much more investors this time. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes much more time to filter
Ah.
the correct person and find. And we had like, I think our process last, including due diligence, about like 6 months or something. Maybe it's a huge difference. Like the first acquisition was like 3 weeks, two and
Yeah.
a half. The second was up to 6 months, including the handover period. So let's say like 4 months or 3 months we spent at least to find the proper buyer and suitable one.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, but since you don't have any investors, I think it's pretty reasonable because most of the time startups in each round spend this amount of time to find to have a let's say Series A, Series B, and maybe then exit. But your way of doing things, don't deal with investors at the beginning, build the product, gain momentum, then maybe directly exit. So in that way, you will have more time to focus, building products, I guess.
Yes, and the reason that this time it take longer to sell an ounce kit is because the buyer had investors. So that's why it took so long. I think if the buyer were buying with their own money, the process will be much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, like having no investors made us much more faster, and like be it's really like tiring process to this like due diligences, like spreadsheets, excels, like it's I hate them, I really hate them. So
Yeah.
we were lucky that we had much less paperwork this time than like raising some money, but still we made really in detail like reports because the other party, the buyer, asked about them, and
Mm-hmm.
there were some good uh, like there were some advantages having this kind of due diligence because we realized that we have really good metrics, very
Mm-hmm.
good reports that we don't use at all. So we realized it was a good experience for us because we see like we can we segmented our users much better. We learned and find out where our weakness, which plans are not retaining good. So thanks to the buyers, we find out too many stuff regarding it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Even if you didn't end up exiting, I believe it would add
Yes.
value to the company definitely. So, by the way, how many people do you have currently in Kovan Studio? I know you grown to 20 plus people, then downsized. Right now, how many full time people and part time people you have in the company?
We were like up to 40 plus people when we were doing content business, but after we
Oh,
focused on to SaaS products, we only like last year we were 11 people, but all the time we were less than 10.
wow.
And with the acquisitions, some of our team members decided to stay with AnnotKit and
Mm-hmm.
switch to new owner. So right now we are including co-founders, seven people.
Yeah. So after the exit, some of them I guess, exited. If I understand correctly, that's why currently you have 7 people. Am I right?
Yes, they switched with the like three people switched to the new owner. They decided to stay with the new owner of AnnotKit, so they are
Ah.
continuing their job
Mm-hmm.
with the new owner. And the
Okay.
rest of the team stayed with us, so we are seven people right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. So I guess you are ready to build from this level and maybe grow the team again. So since you have this dynamic level of work and number of people working, how do you think is your company culture developed? I feel like it's like a task force, for example, coming up together to do something, teaming up, and then maybe separating, some of them separating, but maybe after a new task comes in, uh, maybe they are coming together again. How do you looking at the outside, that's how I feel like it, but how do you think about that?
I can say there's a repeated process. Like with the first one, when we were building Restpack, we were only three people, three
Yeah.
co-founders, and with AnnotKit, we had a team like 11 people, 10 people. So there are two different experience. They were two different experience for us. But right now, I think like we have the core team to build our next product because like we know each other, we know how to work together, and it's a huge motivation for team members to start something new because like
Mhm.
all of us are like-minded. And yeah, we it's like every stage is a new experience for us. So I can say that we have a like com- company culture, or it's more experience that like seven people who like to work with each other work
Mhm.
together.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you very much. I have another question about you. It is, why do you call yourself parallel entrepreneur? On your LinkedIn profile, I believe for a couple of years, it says, parallel entrepreneur, and most of the time people brag about being a serial entrepreneur. So what is the reason? Yeah, I know that you are building more than one products at once, but I believe there is, I think, you want to say something with that.
Yeah, maybe it's not stated in my LinkedIn, but I have some offline businesses as well. That's why like I work on several different companies at the time, and that's why I think it's parallel entrepreneur because like each of these industries are pretty far away from each other. One of them is like gastronomy, another one is tourism, another one is like IT tech. So
Ah, nice.
it's a huge roller coaster between my mind every time I switch like the my day or my mind, where every time it's like huge roller coaster for me to switch from like tourism to IT because dynamics are so different, everything is
Yeah.
so different, competition is different. So that's why I call myself more parallel entrepreneur than
I see.
parallel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Probably people looking at your LinkedIn might not see that. Yeah, I knew that you were in gastronomy, but yeah, yeah. Being in more than a couple of industries. So how do you manage that? You also have kids. You have a family. You have you have three business. Going on parallel. How do you make the time and energy?
uh, it's not enough time for me, and like there's some other stuff I would like to also do, like sports or
Mm-hmm.
travel, other stuff. So the time is not enough. It's definitely not enough, but like I just try to live as much as I can. So I every time I realize that I lost too much opportunity in every business, like in IT or like in tourism, in every step I lost too much because I couldn't focus on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge opportunity cost of it, but I like the process, I like the journey, and it's more interesting for me this way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally understand. I also have some side gigs, but not big as going into tourism, but mostly online small businesses like this podcast. This is also a side business, and not a business, maybe just a hobby. Anyways, yeah, thank you very much, Arsen, for your answers. Lastly, I want to ask you, i- is there anything I didn't ask, but you want to talk about?
It's too hard, because we have some chat time to time. So right now I'm speaking to you, and I think you know everything, and also I can't notice anything you didn't ask me so far. So
Okay, great.
I think
Maybe
that's
I can ask one last thing. If someone wants to join your journey at Kovan Studio, how can they reach out to you?
my email is the best way. or visiting our website. We
Mm-hmm.
have some contacting options there. I
Uh-huh.
think it's email again, but Arsen at Kovan Studio will be the fastest way to reach me.
All
So
right. All
we will be
right.
happy to hear
Yeah, thank you very
young
much,
talent.
Ersan. Yeah, it was nice talking to you. Yeah, and I will be following your journey and see, what kind of a product you will produce.
Thanks, Jara.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having me again.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.